Siavash, a man of principle. In the name of God. Siavash, who was confident he was innocent, mounted his black horse with pride and rode his horse into the fire courageously. People loved Siavash so deeply that they constantly worried about him and prayed for his safety as he rode his beautiful horse through the fire bravely. When Siavash in white came out of the flames untouched, everyone screamed with happiness. His innocence had been proven. Sudabeh watched the whole scene from afar, her heart pounding with fear. Kekavus, burning with anger, ordered his men to arrest her and punish her for betrayal, although she had never confessed to any guilt. Siavash asked his father to forgive her, as he thought if his father killed her, he would regret it one day and then blame him for Sudabeh's death. Besides, Siavash was such a forgiving person. Kekavus forgave Sudabeh and peace returned to the palace once again. But Sudabeh wouldn't leave Siavash alone, always finding ways to annoy him. Months later, Kekavus received word that Afrasiab was gathering a vast army preparing for a war against Iran. Kekavus was preparing to advance toward the border of Iran and Tehran when Siavash stepped forward, volunteering to face Afrasiab in battle himself. Kekavus agreed to let Siavash go in his place, appointing him commander of the army and asking Rustam to accompany him into battle. This gave Siavash a good chance to stay away from Sudabeh, who planned a new scheme every day, and at the same time prove his loyalty to his father once again. Afrasiab learned that Siavash and Rustam were approaching Tehran, fully prepared for battle. There was a fierce fight between them near the Ceyhun River and lasted for 3 days. The Persians were far stronger, especially with the legendary Rustam and the noble Siavash leading the army. Afrasiab's forces failed to fight as expected and were on the brink of defeat. Garsivaz, Afrasiab's brother, rode swiftly to deliver the grim news of their defeat. Meanwhile, Afrasiab had a nightmare in which Siavash and Rustam had taken his life and conquered his land. Frightened by the dream, he summoned his dream interpreters. They all agreed that if he entered a battle with Siavash, Tehran would be destroyed. And if Siavash were ever wounded, Afrasiab's kingdom would come to an end. Afrasiab immediately ordered Garsivaz to take plenty of gifts for Siavash and Rustam, hoping to soften their hearts and persuade them to accept his offer of peace. Siavash and Rustam accepted the peace treaty with a condition. Afrasiab should send 100 of his close relatives to Iran, so that they'll feel confident that there is real peace and that Afrasiab is not playing any tricks. Afrasiab accepted the condition and sent 100 of his relatives. Meanwhile, Rustam returned to the palace to inform Kekavus of the peace treaty. Reading Siavash's letter, Kekavus got angry. His voice shook the walls in the palace. "I expected Afrasiab's head, not his gifts. How could he trick you with presents? You know how deceitful he is, how childish you've acted. Tell Siavash to send the hostages back, on donkeys. If he pities the people of Tehran so deeply, let Tus lead the army and teach him the true meaning of war." Rustam couldn't take it anymore. He replied, "Don't ever think that Siavash will break his promise. He will never do any harms to Afrasiab's relatives delivered into his hands." Then he continued, "If you believe Tus is the better warrior, Then send him to the battlefield now and forget I was ever born." Rustam left the palace with burning anger.